Hey, let's talk about keyboards that I'm using as a software developer. So this will be from a software developer standpoint, not a gamer. I'm not really a gamer, but I reorganized my office lately, and that kind of inspired me to rethink the keyboards I was using. And so I have a two computer setup here where I've got a Linux computer off here on my right, and this computer here is a Mac Mini. And what I was previously using before I remodeled my office is on my Mac, I was using just a regular standard layout, plastic, standard layout, rubber dome keyboard, which I've always found is perfectly fine for software development. They have, the rubber dome has a snappy feel to them. I can type just as fast on a cheap plastic $20 rubber dome keyboard as I can on a, really expensive mechanical keyboard. So I've always found that to be just fine. Um, but I just wanted something a little bit nicer to go along with my remodeled office. Also, the the other things that got me thinking about is like I kind of gave up on wireless keyboards a while ago, but I wanted to revisit wireless. I thought it would make having wireless keyboards would be nicer for my office, this new inspiring office situation, and then also something smaller. Instead of, I never use the number pad on a full size keyboard. I use the arrow keys and the page up keys. Um, but perhaps something smaller, a little bit more desk saving, I thought would be nice. Then, so on the Mac, I was using a rubber dome. On the Linux computer, I was using a mechanical WASD V3 keyboard with, now these are supposed to be Cherry MX Blue switches. Now, so here that's a TKL layout without the number pad, okay? But there were a couple, and it's wired, it's not wireless. So there were a couple of reasons why I was thinking I might like to try out a new keyboard for the Linux box. And the one is, I've never really liked the, I mean, these are blue, Cherry MX Blues. They don't feel that clicky or tactile to me. I don't know. Maybe they made the wrong ones, or maybe I have a misunderstanding of what Cherry MX Blue switches are supposed to be. But I feel like I never really got satisfaction out of this keyboard in terms of the tactile, clicky feel of this keyboard. The other thing I've never liked about this keyboard is that, it's pretty high. I mean, it's, like my hand is way up off the ground, off the table. And so that got me to thinking, maybe making a change away from this keyboard for those two reasons. And then again, wireless. So the first thing I did is I focused on the Mac, and I thought, what am I getting? Let me focus on the Mac first. And I just went to Logitech and I just said, what kind of cool keyboards does Logitech have? And, mechanical. And so I picked up, without a lot of research and a lot of thinking about it or anything like that, this is the Mac version of the Logitech MX Mechanical Mini. Okay, so it's a 75% layout. It has the page up and page down and home and end keys, and then the arrow keys tucked in here. So this is becoming quite a popular layout now, these 75% layout keyboards. And I thought I might like to try that. And also the other thing too is that it's low profile. And so since I didn't like the standard profile of the WASD keyboard, I thought I might like this. So we'll talk about this keyboard first. This kind of is almost like a gateway drug to 75% layout. So as I started using this, I thought, I kind of like this 75% layout. Maybe I can make a switch away from a standard layout and or away from the TKL layout like this. And so I was liking that. Now This is the Mac version, which means you don't have this. The keys down here are dedicated labels for the Mac, keyboard, Mac computer, and it does not have a switch on here to mode switch between PC and Mac. I probably should have just got the regular one instead of the Mac specific one, but the regular one, it's got dual printed labels. Okay, so this would say Command, and then underneath it would say Alt. And I don't know, I just wanted dedicated labels since I was going to be using this on a Mac Mini. I just wanted dedicated labels. So I went with the Mac Mini now, or the Mac version of it. The downside of going with the Mac version, though, is that, well, now I can't really take it to another computer. I mean, I can, but the two keys will be backwards if I take this to any other computer. But that's okay. But the other big downside to going with the Mac version is that it does not come in the blue switches, the clicky blue switches. You get a choice between the linears, I think, maybe the reds, and then the browns, which are tactile. They have a tactile bump to them, but they're kind of quiet. So this is the brown. These are brown switches. You can kind of hear it. Okay. So they're not chair. I think they're Gateron. I don't know what switches these are, but they're brown. So that means that they're that bump. They have a tactile bump to them. I found it to be okay, just fine for me to type on. I know some other reviews on the internet have complained about the squishiness of the browns. I definitely would have gone with the blues if I had gotten the regular version of this. But really, I found the browns to be fine. And so I've really been happy with this keyboard. Now, the other thing that I really do appreciate about this keyboard is the battery life. If you turn the backlighting off, let's face it, backlighting's stupid. I mean, why do you need backlighting for? It's dumb. It just wastes batteries. Like, so turn the backlighting off, all right, and this will last 10 months. And if I pull up now I've had this thing going for a few weeks now, and if I pull up my Logitech options here and check it's still saying it's 95% charged. This is supposed to last 10 months with the backlighting turned off, the battery, with consistent regular daily use. So I really like that. I also like that it does use the Logitech Bolt receiver. You can use Bluetooth. I'm always hesitant about Bluetooth. I never have good luck with Bluetooth. You can have, but you can use Bluetooth, or you can use the Logitech Bolt. It does not come with the Bolt receiver though, but I got a new mouse too, which did come with the receiver. So I didn't buy it as a package. I didn't buy it as a bundle. I bought this one first, and then I bought this. So I overpaid a little bit by not buying it as a bundle. Maybe I overpaid by $10 or $20. But anyways, the Logic Bolt, I've always had better luck using the dongle than Bluetooth. Once I got it paired up, it's been fine. I haven't had any connectivity issues. The battery life is still at 95% after having this be here for almost a month. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with this keyboard. So if I'm happy with this keyboard, why not I just buy a second version of one of these, okay, and go with the regular version, the regular PC, the one that you can dual switch between PC and Mac. Why don't I just get another one of these for Link's computer over here? Well, there's one problem. How do you use this on a Linux computer? You can't remap the keys, okay? You have to run the Logi Options software. And the Logi Options software will run on Mac and it will run on Windows, but it does not run on Linux. Right? So the fact that Logi Options, which gives me key rate mapping, which I did do, by the way, the key remapping, I by default, the home key is here and the in key is here, and the page up key is here and the in key is here. And I wanted them reversed. I wanted the page up and page down here, and the home and the in key here. So on the Mac, I can do that. I run Logi Options, go into the mapping software, and change out the keyboard. That does not burn it to the keyboard. Okay, you have to have the Logi Options software running. It's not like I could change it on the Mac, burn it to the firmware of the keyboard, and then take it to the Linux computer and have it stick. It won't do that. Not my understanding. I mean, I haven't tried it, but the Logi Options has to be running in order for that key remapping to work. Okay. And Logi Options doesn't run on Linux. So what else was I going to do? So I started looking, and now that I kind of got like these low profile 75% keyboard, it was like, okay, well, what other 75% low profile keyboards are out there? And so I watched a whole ton of YouTube videos, and what I landed on was the Nuphy Air 75 V2. Okay. And so again, it's low profile. These are Moss switches, which are even heavier than blues. So they're the tactile. They have an even kind of stiffer resistance to them. Probably typing away on my Linux computer as I do this. I should turn it off. Anyways, so I really do like this keyboard. I like the layout of it. It's plastic on the back. People talk about that. I don't care. I think this front bezel here is aluminum. It does come with, you can use it just like the Logitech. You can use it with the dongle or Bluetooth. Okay, and you can switch between multiple computers. You can use it on up to 3 or 4 devices, 3 different Bluetooths, and then the dongle. So I guess that makes 4. So I had some disappointments though, that I've had some real flaky, buggy issues with this keyboard, and I was thinking about sending it back. I don't think I'm going to send it back any longer, but I was seriously considering sending it back. What I did was I installed the firmware on it. Okay, so I downloaded the firmware. Notice how this one does have by default the page up key here and the page down and the home and the end, and I wanted that to match, right? I wanted them to match the here and there, whereas this one's the reverse. So that's the thing with 75% keyboards, is that they're different. Like, one manufacturer will do it one way, one manufacturer will do it a different way. The Keychron K3 and the Logitech, or the Keychron K3 and the Nuphy have by default page up, page down here, and home insert here. Okay, as I already discussed, the Logitech and the low-free, which I'm not covering because I didn't buy the low-free, the low-free 84 or something. It matches the Logitech. So the four main 75% low profile keyboards out there, which would be the Logitech, the Nuphy Air 75, the low-free, I forget what it's called, and then the Keychron K3. The 2 of them go one way, 2 of them go the other way. All right, but anyway, so I had some connectivity problems with this keyboard, and I went back to Bluetooth. I tried the Bluetooth. I tried the one, and a lot of times I would get repeat keystrokes. Sometimes I would get missed keystrokes. And but the biggest problem I was having was you'd press a key and it would stick, and then you would just get a string of that same key repeated forever, and I'd have to then turn the keyboard off to get it to stop, and then turn it back on. So I installed, to try to address this, I did research. I read some threads on Reddit. I ended up downloading the latest firmware. I installed the latest firmware. It seemed like it might have helped a little bit, but I still have some problems with it. Then what I did is I decided to, now remember we're talking about this computer here, and this computer, the computer is actually underneath the desk, all right? And then this is a bamboo top here. And so I was wondering if maybe the bamboo top was interfering with the reception, the Bluetooth, and the dongle. So I got a hub and I pulled the hub above the desk, okay, so that I could plug the dongle in to the hub above the desk. And I was hoping that might reduce any wireless interference. See, this is why 4 or 5 years ago I gave up on wireless for these kind of flaky reasons, but now I'm trying to give wireless a chance again. But anyways, doing that, since I've installed the firmware and I've gone back to using the dongle, not Bluetooth, and I've have the dongle above the desk line and only 2 feet away from the keyboard, I've only had that problem with the key repeat once. Okay. So, I mean, it's annoying, but I guess I could live with if, once a week I get that repeated key and I have to turn the keyboard off and back on again. It's not perfect, but it does, that might be the best solution. I do have a third option I'm going to talk about here in a second. These are Moss switches, which are the heavy, clicky, tactile. I could go with the blues. There's a whole bunch of different switches. This is hot swappable. Okay, so you can hot swap out the switches. I've got this one, this control key right here. I've got the Allos, which is a linear switch. The gamers love the linear switches, I guess, for gaming. See, that's a linear switch. When you press it, there's no breaking point to it. Whereas these other keys, you press, let's see, the function key I've got, see it, and that, it reaches a breaking point and then it falls. Okay, but this one, the linear Allo one, it's supposed to be the smoothest, lightest linear switch that Nuphy offers. I'm thinking about getting a set of Allos and trying out the Allos on this. I might try a few different ones, cowberries, and there's YouTube videos where they review it, and you can do a sound test on all the switches and everything like that. But anyways, I do like this keyboard a lot. I don't know if I'm crazy about the mint green and orange, bright orange, yellow enter key and the banana school bus yellow space bar, but I guess it adds a splash of color. I like more business-like things. But anyways, I do like this keyboard. I'm hoping that maybe they continue to come out with some firmware updates that will fix that key repeat problem. I've heard that there's an RF for the dongle, a firmware update for the dongle. I mean, the dongle, the little thing, there's a firmware update for that. I haven't done that. I don't know how to install that. All right, so I think I'm going to be keeping this keyboard, and it's going to be my main keyboard that I'm going to be using here. Now, while I was struggling with all these keyboard connectivity issues, I decided to order another keyboard, which was the Keychron. And since I wasn't 100% sold on going with a 75% layout, I went with a TKL. So this is a Keychron K1. If I was going to do a direct comparison to the Nuphy and the Logitech, I would have gotten the K3 Pro. This is the K1 Pro. I would have gotten the K3 Pro, which would not have this and would have the 75% layout. Does not have a bezel around it. Okay, so that, I mean, it's kind of neat, I guess, that having this kind of bezel-less design. One thing I did forget to mention is that I like the angle of the Nuphy, because I can put these feet up, and I find when I put these feet up that the angle is right for me. The Now the Keychron, one thing I did not like right away is that it doesn't angle enough. Like yeah, it has a foot here, okay, and you can put that up and it will raise it up a little bit, but not as it's still flatter. Like, I mean, I like to have my wrist curved a little bit. Okay, now this does not have the K1 as well as the K3. They don't have the dongle. They don't have the 2.4 gigahertz dongle. You can only use Bluetooth. Okay, you can use wired mode. Okay. By the way, the Logitech, there's no wired mode. You have to use either the dongle or Bluetooth. The Nuphy, you can use all three. You can use the 2.4 gigahertz dongle, you can use Bluetooth, or you can use wired mode. This one is wired or Bluetooth. Okay, well, the whole reason to do this was to have a wireless setup to go along with my remodeled office to have this nice, sort of minimalist wire-free thing. So I wanted to use the Bluetooth. Now the first this is my second K1 Pro. The first K1 Pro, it didn't work at all. By the way, I've changed out the red enter key with the red escape key, which is the default, the way it comes. I'd swap those out. The first one didn't work at all. And basically what it came down to is that the power switch here, which goes between wired, off is the middle setting, and then Bluetooth and wired, that switch was flaky. And it didn't work at all. I finally did get it to work by fiddling constantly with that power switch. But I just sent that one back because I didn't trust that power switch. This one, the power switch is fine. Now I kind of regret maybe not getting the K3 because now having gone through this for a couple of months, I think I am ready to commit to the 75% layout and abandon the TKL. Okay. But I had wireless flaky key repeat issues with this keyboard too. The same as I did with the Nuphy. So I don't know. Maybe it's just not, I don't know, maybe there's something about my office. There's interference, there's multiple Bluetooth interferency things. I don't know. But I had some of the same kind of flaky key repeat issues with this keyboard as I did with that keyboard. And I also find that this keyboard's laggy. I was just using it not long ago. I'm probably going to send this keyboard back. And in fact, the main reason why I made this video is because I wanted to make the video before I sent the keyboard back. So the strikes against it are, it's Bluetooth only. Besides wired. I don't like the angle. It's laggy. It does wake up slow from sleep mode, which other YouTubers have complained about that. And it's just laggy. It loses its Bluetooth connection. Maybe there's something about my environment here with electrical interference flying around that's causing that. I don't know. So I'm kind of torn. One thing I did want to say about Keychron is I'm now highly suspicious about the quality control of Keychron. I'm not super budding with quality control of the Nuphy either, at least with the software because of the buggy, but the build quality seems fine. This one, the Keychron, well, first of all, I told you I had that problem with the switch here. Okay, the first one didn't work and I had to send it back because it had a flaky switch. All right, the other thing is that when you try to replace it, remember I told you that the enter key I replaced and the escape key, and it comes with swap out replacements for if you want to go back and forth between Mac, and some of these are misshapen. They won't fit. They're not molded right. So when I sent the first one back, I pilfered some. I took all the good keys out of that one and sent it back. I figured, how they say in you guys know the song Alice's Restaurant, where they said when they dumped the garbage down the hill, they said they thought it would be better to have one big pile of garbage than two little piles. So I kind of adopted that philosophy with the keyboard. Better to have one really bad keyboard that I send back and keep the good one. Better to have one big pile of garbage than two little piles of garbage. So I took all the good keys out of the first one that I sent back and I used them for this one. But I mean, I wouldn't have had the advantage of doing that if I hadn't ordered the first keyboard and had. But these keys, some of them, they're misshapen, so they have bad quality control on these. So I don't know. I'm generally, I do like it. I like the feel. By the way, these are brown, so they do have a tactile. Oh, why didn't I get the blues? I'm not sure I could have gotten the blues on. I ordered this on Amazon, and I don't know if they have blues as an option on Amazon. The blue, more clicky ones. If you order it direct from the website, then you have more options. But if you order off Amazon, that's the thing with these keyboards. You order it on Amazon, you have less purchasing options. I don't know. Probably I'm going to send this one back. Bluetooth's flaky, angle's not right, quality control is suspect, and I think I've changed my mind on the TKL thing anyways, and I'm now ready to commit to a 75% keyboard. Okay, so that's it. Oh, maybe this video's gone on long enough. Before I did any of that, I thought, why don't I go back to, my the Magic mouse, or the Magic keyboard. But these don't have any page up or page down. So when I'm using in the home and the end, and I kind of use that when I'm doing a lot of text editing, and I miss the page up and the page down, home and end. I didn't want to give that up. So I at least wanted to at least with the 75 percenters, it still retains this row, which you lose on a Mac laptop and on a Magic keyboard. So I thought about doing that first, but then I gave up on that. I went with the 75% Logitech. That ended up opening a whole can of worms and got me to where I am. All right, so hope that helps you guys out there develop. Again, this is developer kind of oriented, not gaming oriented. That went on for a long time. If you guys want to help me out, you can check out this project I'm working on. OpenSquiggly.com is the website I'm working on. Oopsie. And yeah, OpenSquiggly.com. And it's an internal developer portal / documentation hub for software developers. So check that out. And thanks for watching.